a reflection. And you know what? I'm in such a reflective mood that I think we're gonna do another countdown. We're gonna count down the top 10 something right now. I could either count down the top 10 pieces of furniture in the office, which could be something, or I could count down the my top 10 metal albums of 2013. I would say it's your choice, but it's really not, and it's not even really my choice. The choice was made for us because chairs cannot play guitar. So, honorable mentions. We'll start with 2 comeback albums. The new Queensryche, self-titled, and the new Black Sabbath, 13. Both awesome, really amazing comeback albums. The Queensryche in particular, best thing they've done since the early 90s. And we'll throw in the new Havoc, Unnatural Selection. Those are our 3 honorable mentions, and now, on with the countdown. So we're kicking off the list, speaking of Black Sabbath, fittingly, with an album by a band called Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. It's their new album called Mind Control. So what is it? Well, it's retro doom in that Black Sabbath style, really crushing, really psychedelic, but with a concept. It's about a cult in the desert, and it's really awesome. It's Mind Control by Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. It's like if Charles Manson started a Black Sabbath cover band. Number 9, we're going real old school on you for this one. Back in the early 80s, late 70s, there was this thing called the New Wave of British Metal. It was really the first cohesive movement in heavy metal. There was a band called Satan that released a great album called Court in the Act. It was one of the best New Wave of British Metal albums. And last year, 2013, they're back with a new album. It's called Life Sentence by Satan. And the amazing thing is, it picks up the ball that they dropped, you know, like I said, like 30, 40 years ago. It's just amazing. It picks up right where Court in the Act left off. Really fast, fun, traditional heavy metal. If you like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, this is better than anything those bands have done in a long time. It's Life Sentence by Satan. I can't believe it's a new Satan album. This is ridiculous. Number 8, a much younger band. However, they're also playing a very old school style. They're Warbringer. They're back with their 4th album. It's Warbringer 4, Empire's Collapse. And you know, they're also the first American band on our list, but you know, I think they're really the best band of the whole re-thrash movement. All these young bands playing old school thrash. These guys are one of the best at it, and they're really taking their sound into some interesting new directions on 4, Empire's Collapse. Awesome thrash metal. For number 7, we're going back to the whole Black Sabbath retro doom sound, only this time we're taking the long way through the forest, past the witches. Coming in at number 7, it's the Eldritch Dark from Canada's finest. It's Blood Ceremony. This is like, you know, I said Uncle Acid was like if Charles Manson started a Black Sabbath cover band. This is like if a group of witches in the forest started a Black Sabbath cover band, and also one of them played a flute. So it's Sabbath with a female singer and flutes. It's awesome. It's Blood Ceremony, the Eldritch Dark. And number 6 is a band I have tremendous respect for. They're one of the most consistent and prolific bands in modern metal. They're from Finland, and they're called Amorphous, and their new album's called Circle. And they, you know, these guys have been all over the map stylistically, but the last several albums they've really settled into this amazing sound that is like melodic death metal, but with a very folk-inspired sound, and all their lyrics as well are based on like Finnish folklore and stuff like that. So it's heavy, but it's also beautiful. They have an amazing singer, and Circle is just more awesome Amorphous. We're halfway through the list, and taking the honors in number 5 is Ghost and their new album, Infestissumam, which is Latin, obviously, but it's also just an amazing metal album. These guys do classic metal, but like with a weird like Merciful Fate meets Blue Oyster Cult type sound. And really theatrical. It's almost like performance art metal. But what's really special about them is they just write amazing songs that just get stuck in your head for days. So if you want really catchy, really well-written classic metal, Ghost, Infestissumam. Ghost strikes again. And, you know, speaking of comebacks, we talked about Queensryche and Sabbath and Satan, but I think the most surprising comeback of the year comes in at number 4 on our list. It's The Living Infinite from Sweden's Soilwork. You know, if you're a longtime metal fan, you probably know Soilwork's early stuff. They're really landmark melodic death metal albums, but in recent years they sort of fell off, which is why The Living Infinite is so surprising. Not only is it classic Soilwork, but it's one of the best things they've ever done. It's a really stunning release, and it's a great band to have back. It's Soilwork, The Living Infinite. Really catchy, just awesome melodic death metal. If you liked Satan, you'll love this one. Coming in at number 3 on our list, it's Curse and Chapter from Hell. Another new wave of British heavy metal legend that is just incredibly, almost unthinkably, releasing new music in 2013. This is just the best traditional heavy metal album released last year. Incredibly well written. Again, sticks in your head for days, riffs for days. It's Hell, Curse and Chapter. Definitely worth checking out. Speaking of bands that have been around forever and yet are somehow better than ever, coming in at number 2, it's The Dream Calls for Blood by America's own Death Angel. This is a beast of a thrash metal album, doing the Bay Area proud still in 2013. If you like old Metallica, really fast, riffy thrash metal, this is like that, only leagues beyond anything they've done in years. It's The Dream Calls for Blood by Death Angel. And holy crap, here we are, number 1, my favorite metal album of 2013. What do you think it is? I'll give you a hint. It's another comeback album. I'll give you another hint. It's another melodic death metal album. I'll just tell you. It's number 1. It's Surgical Steel by Carcass. This is just a monstrous record. It's another one of those albums that just hearing that a new Carcass record was coming, my mind just instantly, I had incredibly unreasonable expectations, and yet somehow Surgical Steel exceeded them. This is the most riffy, there are like a million riffs on here, and each one kicks your ass harder than the one before it. It's amazing that they've come back after all this time and actually gotten better, maybe? It's incredible. The wily old vets in Carcass are back with more riffs than ever. Just an amazing album. If you like classic heavy metal, if you like death metal, if you like melodic death metal, this is an album you need to hear. It's my favorite album of 2013. It's Surgical Steel by Carcass. So that was fun. So hey, why don't you let me know in the comments what your favorite metal albums of the year were? Hell, just tell me what your favorite albums of the year were. And since this was so random, maybe you're not into music, tell me what your top 10 anything were, your top 10 pancakes you had last year. Let me know in the comments. Pancakes. Pancakes.